Now, our next guest gives J-Lo a good run for her money. Katie Mohamed is a seasoned businesswoman, TV personality, and the CEO of Brand Fusion. She has her roots in countless sectors of the media, fashion, and corporate industries. She joins us today to chat about the importance of creating sustainable spaces for women to thrive in today's economy. Hello, Katie.
Hi, Jeannie. It's been a while.
Oh, Katie's known me from when I was 18 years old and I first started in radio because of course, you worked in media all that time.
Yes.
What a journey you have been through in your life. So from being behind the scenes in TV to actually being a TV host to now Brand Fusion. What exactly is Brand Fusion and what got you there?
So it's been a journey, like I said, you know. I started in the media industry from a broadcasting background, of course. Loved radio and then moved on to television and worked for one of the best broadcasters in the world. And I would think that it's like an institution. You come out of a broadcaster, you literally feel that you're alive. You've learned so much.
Yeah.
And of course, we delivered an amazing 2010 from an SABC perspective, and I thought, where to next? And of course, at that time, it's what can I offer? To myself. And of course, the entrepreneurship bug, sometimes you always believe that entrepreneurship is in your DNA.
Yeah.
And that happened and created Brand Fusion, marketing and communications, had the most amazing projects that I've worked on over the years, including having a cooking show and doing all of the stuff that we love.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing is just having passion in what you do.
Yeah.
And when you have passion, it actually comes out.
Yeah, it does.
So, yes.
It is. Katie's been and done everything, including crashing a date that I was on with Trevor Nya.
Do you think we should tell them about that?
No, I'm just teasing, but it was good fun.
Yes.
Something that you're very passionate about, though, and something that you're extremely vocal on is a woman's voice in the workplace. And something that I actually just read this morning is the Forbes US, the 100 most dynamic leaders in business. There was one woman on that list out of 100. What is that kind of sector like in South Africa? Are women not getting ahead as quickly as what we should?
Well, it's a global challenge.
Yeah.
So whether it's South Africa, whether it's the UK, it's a global challenge. And I think more importantly, what I personally believe that we are backward in South Africa is that as much as we come from an apartheid era, which was, of course, the brown people having a problem, now it's the women and the brown girls as well. So for me, I had to look at how do we accelerate this agenda of female equality driving a specific agenda.
Yeah.
And I look around and, we look at women in leadership. I went to the President's Summit last year and I looked around and the 200 women leaders that were there, we knew all of them. It was the same old,
That's not good enough.
It's just not
where's
good
that
enough.
fresh young blood?
So hence, W Suite, which is W for women and W is for we, is how do we come together and create the platforms for women that need the profile? Because, Jeannie, let's be honest, if you're not a TV personality or an influencer these days, people don't know you.
No.
But they're neuroscientists, they're CEOs that people need to know.
But Katie, I want to ask you that because I think a lot of young girls rising up have got the Kardashian effect. They think that by being famous, by being an influencer, by getting the sweet cheeks out on your Insta, then that's going to make you famous. But that, unless you're one in a million, that's not going to give you a seat at the table that's going to make all the decisions in the world. What should these young girls be doing so that they can be in a little bit more influential positions?
I always say your brand is your currency.
Yeah.
So these days, even if you have to go for an interview, people go onto your social media. So what you post on social media is the single most important thing.
Yeah.
So if you're on a journey, with yourself, you need to talk about relevant things. So you want people to take you seriously. So look, from a Kardashian point, it's like you say, 1 in a billion case, and yes, they've done well.
It works for them.
However, what works for us and what works for you as an individual is what makes you stand up. And I think people are getting tired of the normal influencers posting pictures and just, pretty pictures traveling and. Is what is the content that you're giving? What is the message that you want people to know about you? And I think that is the single most important thing about actually from a messaging perspective. And I think as a woman, I look back and I say, how do we, like you said, how do we find a seat at the table for other women?
Yeah.
Because most of us have the opportunity to have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
but we don't. We have this conversation about PhD, pull her down syndrome.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, like, enough's enough. Come, girls, there's enough for all of us. And how do we
So what do we do? What changes?
Well, so for me, it's the most important is creating platforms for dialogue.
Okay.
And it's not really talk shops, because you and I both know is when you're in a space together, you have a conversation, you can actually leave there with saying, I know someone that can help you.
Yeah.
So as much as there's a lot of outreach projects and there's a lot of people that are working on outreach projects, I always believe that people don't worry about a Jeannie and a Katie because they think we're okay.
Yeah. But we're not always.
But we're not okay.
You see, those are the people you must also worry about,
Yes.
so that a Jeannie and a Katie can bring other people
Exactly.
as well.
And I think that's the most important thing is W Suite's initiative.
Yeah.
It's really how do we create a movement where we go on bringing people along our journey. So whether it's you in agriculture or mining or education or health, is how do we bring each other up? And trying to create a strong female economy.
Yeah.
Because you and I both know that when we have strong female leaders, we're going to have a great nation.
Amazing. And Katie, I'm on a lot of these business chats and these forums that start on WhatsApp, and then it ends up in dinners, and then it's always men. It is always men. What needs to change in a woman's mind to bring, to lift another woman? Because still, it's men lifting other men, and women are not lifting other women.
Look, it's always the boys' club. We know that. And with due respect to all the men that I know of, I always say that they are our allies. And strategically, and some of them are actually very committed to pull a seat up for you. So I've had the most amazing allies in my journey. And I always say to people around me is that don't see them as the enemy. See them as an ally and say, how would you see me being part of your project? And for me, that's like the most important thing. So I always say, let's not be exclusive. And as women, let us, show the men out there. Because I think some of them sit around and say, hey, you girls never get on because, you want to be better than the other. And I'm like, no, it's not true, because we have been extremely successful supporting each other.
Yeah. Katie, I can tell you consistently throughout all we met when I was 18, so it's not a long time. Throughout all those years, if I have to pull up 5 people on one hand who've just been consistently amazing and working hard and creating it and building, it's you. So, you're on that hand.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here
Jeannie.
today
Thank you
and
so much.
motivating and inspiring all these young women.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
Love you.